Everyone, and welcome to another edition of Paul's Cinema Picks of the Week. I'm your host, Brantford's film enthusiast, Paul Westbrook. And today we're going to be doing a topic that was on one of our polls, which, by the way, you can find on Facebook, our polls that say which you want us to talk about on the show. And this week is movies based on true life events. So I have some very interesting movies here to talk about that were based on true life events. So let's get to it. I'm going to start here with Argo. Argo was a well-known movie. In fact, I think it was up for Best Picture, or I think it even won Best Picture. But Argo stars Ben Affleck, Bryan Cranston, Alan Arkin, and John Goodman. Now, getting to the short end of the story, it's basically about a hostage crisis in Iran. And during the time of when the hostages were still in Iran, they had a group of, secret agents that show up. And what they are is they disguise as a film crew. And what this is to get some of the hostages as part of the film crew, so that the agents can get them out of Iran safely and without any incidents. And it's a very, very compelling story. And if you like these type thrillers, and with suspense and basically on a true story, the agents were CIA here, because it says here about the CIA and Hollywood connections, and they talk about a little bit about the fact that this intricate plan to get all these hostages out of Iran, and through this means of getting them disguised as people like the director, and getting the people, the producer, and so and so. So what they do is they go in and they get most of the hostages out of Iran. It's a really good story. I think I've seen it once. It's been a while, so I might have to refresh myself on it. But it's certainly a recommended film. If you like Ben Affleck, I would certainly recommend it. And I got it here on Blu-ray, so it should be able to be found at Walmart or any store that you're looking for it. But yes, Argo is a really good story. Take a look when you can, and let me know what you think. Next is another movie based on a true event, Open Water. Now what it is this couple, they go out scuba diving, and what happens is the boat deserts them and leaves them in the middle of the ocean. Now that is a frightening thought. So then they have to deal with sharks and eventually the possibility of drowning. And if you are scared of situations like this, if this is a type of phobia, then I would definitely suggest that you're careful when you see this. Just a minute, I have to take a drink there. And it's one of those movies that makes you jump out of your skin. It's terror of a different type. It's just the fact that these two people are in this situation where they're in the middle of the ocean. There's no other boats around. There's nothing there. It's just them in the ocean. And some people might get bored a little bit at it because of the fact that most of, if not all, the film takes place in the middle of the ocean. So there's really nothing really to see other than the two people there and their conversation, and the situation that they're in is what the basis of the film is all about. But it's pretty good. It's another one of those really good films that if you like that type of movie, and if you like your horror in a slow build, I would definitely suggest it. And if not, then at least give it a try and see what you think, and then go from there. Okay, my next film...
Dobby's helping pick.
Now, Dobby's just picked the Ghost in the Darkness, Michael Douglas and Val Kilmer, as two men that go to Africa because people were trying to build a railroad, and they're trying to build the African Railroad. Now, the problem is that these two bloodthirsty lions keep killing half the workers. So they send Douglas and they send Kilmer there to solve the problem and get rid of the two lions. And some people are wondering if this is a true story. It's, let's put it this way. It says, only the most incredible parts of the story are true. But I've actually heard some documentation that these movies actually are, or in fact, this was actually based on a true story. So I would say yes. The likelihood of it being true is a lot more than the movie not being. But if you like a movie like this, and they say it has some very good, breathtaking, thrilling moments, and I would strongly recommend it. I've seen it at least twice, and I think there's a book on it. I'm not sure, but yes, I like Val Kilmer. Val Kilmer's really good in this. Michael Douglas is fantastic. So, yeah, if you can, when you're at your store, just see if you can get it on DVD, because this is the VHS copy here. Might be a little hard to find now that VHS is pretty well discontinued. Pretty much. Unless you go to a thrift store or a pawn shop. Yeah, if you want to get it on DVD, be my guest. Okay. Our third movie here is called The Finest Hours. This is also, and it says Disney presents The Finest Hours, The Impossible Rescue. And of course it's based on a true story. Here, I'll have to read the back here. It says, based on the extraordinary true story of the greatest small boat rescue in Coast Guard history. Finest Hour is a tale of courage, loyalty, and honor in the face of overwhelming odds. So what happens is there's a storm, and it hits the coast of Cape Cod, and this T2 oil tanker splits in half, trapping more than 30 sailors on the in the sinking storm. And of course, Chris Pine, he's the lead in this one here, and the crew have to set out on a 12-seat rescue boat to save them. So this is the incredible story of that rescue. And the DVD here has some bonus features. It has the I have to read it very carefully here. Cast members reflecting on the bonds they forged during the shoot, and the finest inspiration, the U.S. Coast Guard. Meet the people who put their lives on the line for others, so you get to talk to Coast Guards and the stuff that they have to deal with. And it's a film of true American heroism, so another one I strongly recommend to see. I don't know if you've seen this before, Issa?
No.
Yeah, so, yeah, I would look and see for myself what you think. And then finally, we're going to end here with Oliver Stone film. And Oliver Stone, he did JFK and all the different Vietnamese films, like Platoon, the themes and stuff. Oliver Stone here does World Trade Center. And it's a true story of courage and survival in the face of overwhelming odds. And it says one of the best films of the year. And what it is, Nicolas Cage, he plays a firefighter, and it tells about what was going on during the time of 9/11, which was still a very horrible time that none of us really have forgotten. I remember where I was the day that 9/11 was. I was at my grandmother's house where I lived with her at the time, and it was certainly traumatic. We thought the world was going to change completely. And here in this film, of course, you get the policemen that were trapped in the rubble, and you get the different officers that came, the firefighters, everybody. It's basically the situation of 9/11 as put to a film and a good story. And I've heard that this is a really, really good story. So, yeah, I guess it depends on the audience on how they like true life stories as opposed to films and fiction. I've always been a believer that when you watch a movie, you like to separate the realism from the fantasy. But in cases like the films that I've been talking to you about here, it's actually good because you, in a sense, get to learn, even though the story's fictionalized, like some of the stuff is like Hollywoodized. Not really fictionalized because it's a real event, but it's Hollywoodized, so they will embellish it a little more just to make it a little more exciting.
Like The Conjuring.
if you're familiar with what went on in 9/11, a lot of us are, I would say see World Trade Center. Find it also at your video store. Well, that's a little bit of our show there, where we talk about true life events, and each of the films should be able to be found at your Walmart or any store. If you don't have a Walmart, go to a mall. You can shop online, do whatever, see if you can find one of these films, and tell me what you think, maybe on a future show. But for now, this is Paul reminding you to like and subscribe to our channel. Leave a comment at the bottom of the video, so that way we can see and read it. My sister will probably read it before I do.
Yep.
So
and respond.
That way you'll be able to tell me what you guys thought, what you liked, what you didn't like. Hopefully you liked it more than you didn't. And also take part in the polls on our Facebook page, on the Paul's Cinema Picks page right on Facebook. Actually, we have our own page now, and take part in the poll. Let us know, what you want to see in a future show, and then we'll get back to you, and then whatever gets the highest vote, that's what I'll talk about. But for now, this is Paul Westbrook, Brantford's film enthusiast, reminding you that I'll be seeing you at the movies. So long.